G'day, welcome to Oly35mm, user-based, quasi-empirical, cheap and cheerful videos on Olympus 35mm cameras. Today I'd like to share with you a series of cameras that ran for 27 years in 3 different lots and brought out anything from 17 to 26 models, depending on how you count it. And that is the Olympus 35 series. Now, as I said, there are 3 distinct groups here. There was the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 models which came out between 1948 and 1955, and they were noticeable by having a viewfinder which was actually external to the camera, so just sitting on top of the camera, but built in. Then there was a second lot, which was the S and K series, and they ran from 1955 to 1959 and were rather interesting in the fact that they tended to differentiate themselves by the fastest aperture, which I think ran from f2.8 through to about f1.8, something like that anyway. Then there was the third series, which is what I've got here, or 4 models of what I've got here, and that ran from 1966 to 1978, and that had the LC, sorry, my apologies, the LE, the LC, the SP, which I've got here, the RC, the RC, which I've got there, the EC, the RD, which was the bigger brother to this, the DC, ED, and the ECR, which was one of these fellas, but with a rangefinder. I think there might have been an EC2, I can't quite remember now. But anyway, there's 4, I've got 4 models of these, and I think they give a good cross-section of that later group of cameras which ran from 1966 to 1978, or the last one, which was the RD, the big brother to the DC, that came out in 1975. That was the last time a model was actually brought out. So 30-year span, if you like, but 27 years of releases. Okay, now the SP is very important to me anyway, at least, because it was the start of something that ended up costing me a small fortune, and that was the Oly35mm project. Going back, a friend of mine just before Christmas, December 2013, gave me this beautiful 35 SP 42mm f1.7 lens, one of the first cameras around with spot metering, automatic and manual operation. Lovely unit, 7-element lens, fantastic. Peter gave this to me. Thank you very much, Peter. It's very generous of you. And Oly35 was born, and it's cost me a small fortune ever since. But nonetheless, I've had great fun over the last 3 years, and certainly this last year, of reviewing Olympus 35mm cameras. So again, Peter, thank you very much. Okay, what else have we got here? We've got the 35RC and the 35EC. And the RC is probably considered one of the shooter's cameras, if you will. Sorry, that's the 35RC there. It's a fantastic little camera, nice and light compared to the others, heavy by today's standards. It has a rangefinder lens, a rangefinder window with a fully focusing lens. It has shutter speeds of 1/15 of a second through to 500th of a second. It's a 42mm f2.8 lens. It also has visual indication of both aperture and shutter speed in the viewfinder, as well as the rangefinder and the parallax marks. It also allows you to be fully manual as well. So it's a fantastic little street shooter, and sought after by shooters. It will set you back a little bit of cash I'm afraid, if you would like one. There was a cheaper version, if you like, or a simpler version of this, the RC, which was all automatic exposure, and that was the 35EC. There are another two models that came after this, the EC2 and the ECR. The ECR was a rangefinder version. This and the EC2 were both zone focusing. Still lots of indications in the viewfinder. You could actually see what you were focusing on, 4 little scenes with a needle that pointed to each of the scenes, plus a battery check exposure light. And in 1971 there came the 35DC. Now the 35DC was a lot like the 35EC, only it had a 40mm f1.7 lens, and that was a rangefinder again. And there was a much lauded unit that came after that. That's the RD, the 35RD. Same lens, but automatic and manual override with it. Considered to be one of the pinnacle, if you like, outside of the 35SP. The pinnacle of Olympus 35mm rangefinders. It was their last rangefinder, and quite hard to get, quite well sought after, but also comes with its own problems. That is the 35RD, not the DC that I'm talking about here. The 35RD has quite a few problems with maintenance, so if you buy yourself one, you'll probably need to get a good CLA on it. So expect that that money to be added to the price. Okay, so that was the 35 series. Like I said, there was between 17 and 26 models, depending on who you speak to, or whether you count those sort of minor models. There was a 30-year run, or 27 of releases. Very, very popular set of cameras. Lovely build, fantastic image quality. As good as you can get, I think, most of them as good as you can get in Olympus. So that's your lot for today. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.